everybody. Welcome to MLS Playoff Central, the pregame show presented by Audi. Last night, we saw Toronto FC punch their ticket to the MLS Cup final after a thrilling 1-0 win over the Columbus Crew. But who will they face on December 9th? We will find out tonight as we set the stage for the Western Conference Championship Leg 2 game between Seattle and Houston. And I am so happy to be reunited with this crew. We had so much fun last night, we decided to do it again, right, guys?
Round two.
Round two. Here we go. I'm Susanna Collins, and I am joined by my co-host of This Week in MLS, host of the movement, former MLSer, Kaylin Carr.
Susanna, always so nice
Look at,
to see
hey!
you.
Was that? That's you.
Yeah,
scoring
look
some
at
goals.
this is a helmet goal. That should be.
This was
worth two
before I
goals,
knew you.
Yeah, old school.
Old school. Bring back
Anyways.
the helmet. Bring back the helmet. To my right, we have former MLS Cup champion, current member of NYCFC, also Costa Rican international, who's going to the World Cup, by the way, Mr. Rodney Wallace. Great to have you back.
Good to be back here with you guys.
And of course, we have member of Minnesota United, member of the U.S. men's national team, one of the coolest guys around, Mr. Ethan Finley. So good to have you guys here again.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it is a pleasure. And you guys, I just want to remind everybody that you can watch this game at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, TSN, and TVA Sports in Canada. So start that coffee brewing, because it's going to be a late one if you are on the East Coast. We've also got Jill Sakovitz, who is out at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, so we're going to be checking in with her. I am also going to take this opportunity to promote our MLS Cup Central shows starting next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night at 7 p.m. We will be going live, and on Saturday, December 9th, ahead of the big game, we're going to have a pre- and post-game show. We've got some special guests coming in. We've got Goalkeeper of the Year, Tim Melia, Rookie of the Year, Julian Gressel, Iko Para, Dax McCarty. We're going to be doing some game ball giveaways. I kind of want one of those. It's going to be great. Kaylin Carr and I are going to be in Toronto, in market, up to no good out there. So we're going to be bringing you some fun,
Freezing.
some fun
Yeah.
antics. Hopefully it won't be quite
I
as
saw the
cold.
snow at the end of that match
gosh.
dropping on the shoulders. I was a bit nervous.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just hoping it's not quite as cold as it was last year.
We'll
'Cause
stick
that was-
together.
We'll just bundle. We'll bundle.
We made
we'll
it last
bundle.
year, yeah.
You borrowed my scarf last year.
I did. Very fashionable.
This is true. That is a true story. You guys, so just a few moments ago on SportsCenter, the 2017 Best 11 was announced. So right now we are going to take a look at this list of players. Just, what can you say about this group here? No real surprises at goalkeeper. We've got Tim Melia. We've got defenders Justin Morrow, Iko Para, Kendall Waston. In the midfield, Miguel Almiron, Victor Vasquez, Diego Valeri, and forward Sebastian Giovinco, Joseph Martinez, Nemanja Nikolic, and David Villa. So guys, when you take a look at this best 11 that we've assembled here, who stands out to you? Ethan, we'll start with you.
The guy that stands out to me first is Miguel Almiron.
Yeah.
Newcomer of the year, 9 goals, 14 assists, a dynamic player, a guy who can find the last ball. He can run past defenders. I remember this clip maybe a little all too well. A special player, a guy who can take the ball and run 6 yards with it and score a goal and get assists. So, a deserving honor for him.
He is just so fun to watch too. His speed.
He's changed the way that MLS teams, expansion teams, come in and try and formulate a team.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be NYCFC, Orlando, bring in big stars like Kaká, David Villa, who is still a legend and is on the best 11, deservedly so. But Miguel Almiron has really changed the formula. You'll see LAFC, I think, try and go younger, look to Central and South America to bring in some bigger stars. At age 21 years old,
Yeah.
I mean, there's been rumors about him being sold for upwards of $20 million. And Atlanta has said no.
They were like,
but that's the type of impact
Please
he's
tell
made
me. Please
just
tell
in his
Miguel.
first year in the league.
Okay, well, who stands out to you here, other than Mr. Almiron?
Well, first of all, I like to watch 4 strikers go at it. I hope Kendall Waston is ready to throw some tackles in this lineup. But I think very East Coast heavy. A lot of the Eastern Conference, they had the better season this year of the two. And then all playoff teams. Not a single person on the best 11 made it that didn't find their way into the playoffs. I think that's also a good step forward. But I'm going to focus on Tim Melia and Iko Para. Sporting Kansas City, not the biggest names on there, and didn't make the All-Star game, so disappointing for them not to get there, but this is the one you want. The best 11 is such a big honor to be, especially the way the league is now with the talent that's out there. So having two members from Sporting get their due reward, their shine amongst the biggest names in the league, I think is right, and they deserve it based on their play.
All right, Rodney, what about for you? Who stands out here?
For me, I'm going to go with Kendall Waston. I'm going to go with the big man from Vancouver. He deserves it. He works hard. He's a big presence in the box, offensively, defensively, and his hard work goes a long way. I think that he's a great passer of the ball. He's improved a lot with his feet, and I think that that's very important in the center back. That's something that you look for in a player back there to start things going into attack. I think that he put Vancouver on his shoulders with a lot of his goals. A lot of his goals came from set pieces, not only from his headers, but he also scored a couple with his feet. So don't sleep on the big man.
Rodney, you said that you play together with the national team. You said that he trains those set pieces.
He trains those set pieces. He gets upset if he doesn't get a goal in a set piece, or if he loses a marker. He takes it personal, and that's exactly what every team wants out of their center back.
I also love that you told me that he's just a big teddy bear.
He's a nice guy.
He's this
guy.
beast of a guy, but then he's just like, oh, he's so nice.
He's a big teddy bear.
I love
Good
that.
guy.
Love hearing that. For me, I'm gonna be the Chicago homer here and go with Nemanja Nikolic, because I love what he brought to this team. 24 goals on the season. He wins the Golden Boot. Just his ability to finish. Chicago needed a striker like that, and it's just what he was able to bring to this team and finding space in the box. It was just really fun to watch, and I don't know. Yeah. Go Chicago.
I wouldn't have called that. I'm not going to lie to you. My first game played against Chicago with Columbus earlier this season. He had 4 or 5 offsides, and I thought, I don't know if this signing's going to pan out, but what do I know? 33 games later, he had 24 goals to his name, so I don't know anything.
What do we know?
Right? What am I doing sitting here?
We're not experts. Okay, so on the flip side of this conversation, obviously we just saw the best 11. Anybody that you feel was left off this list? Somebody who might have been deserving? Rodney, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Dax.
Dax McCarty.
Dax. Give
Another
Dax
Chicago
love,
guy.
man. I mean, with the season that Chicago had, I thought, Dax should have been on that list. I know it's hard for a player in his position, given the fact that this is offensive team, to be honest. I think that Dax should have gotten some love. I thought that, for Chicago to turn things around from where they were last year to do what they did this year, he was a big factor in that. He wore the captain's armband, and I think that my man should have been on that list.
I like that. Ethan, what about you?
Yeah, I don't really think it's a snub. I'd say it's maybe a 1B, and for me, it's Ignacio Piatti. And I think, Kaylin, you touched on it. It's, these are guys, the criteria is they made the playoffs. And I think that probably separates, him not getting on the team. So I thought he had a fine season. Again, I think, he was the most dangerous player all year for Montreal. Kept them in the playoff race as long as they could. But, it was too little too late.
Kaylin.
Yeah. I think Victor Vasquez took his spot in that midfield, and I think he had 16 or 17 assists in the season. So it's great to see him rewarded. I mean, the names that seem absent to me are Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley. To me, they're clearly in their best 11 players in the league. But that also is a statement about where Toronto FC is. They have 3 guys on the team already.
Yeah,
Javinko, Justin Morrow, who also you'd like to see feature more with the national team as well, and then Victor Vasquez. But to have Josie and Michael Bradley not in the best 11 shows you what a talented team this is, and also the sacrifice that this team has made individually for these type of accolades. I think they'd be happy to trade that for the position they're in right now.
All right, well, let's get to the action tonight. Again, you guys, this is a game you can watch at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Let's talk about Houston a little bit, shall we? A tall task ahead of them tonight, shall we say. They're in a 2-0 hole after falling to Seattle in that first leg. No Albert Elise tonight. He's out with yellow card accumulation. Going into CenturyLink Field, we know how hard it is to win there. Seattle have been so good at home all season long. Does Houston have a chance? Rodney, I'm going to start with you.
Houston has a chance. You got to believe, right? You got to believe. I think that Houston has a chance to make it through to the finals. I think that Seattle not having Torres it's gonna only open things up for Houston. I think that it's gonna be vital for them to capitalize on the set pieces, given the fact that Torres takes up so much space and he's such a presence in the box. I think that Ellis not playing is, it's a bit of a factor. It's gonna, he's a player that makes things happen. But I believe that the rest of the group is gonna be ready. I want Sanchez to come off the bench and make things happen as he did against Kansas City, and I think he's very capable of that.
Okay. Ethan, what do you think?
Well, I think you're generous when you say tall task. I think it's a mountainous task. I really do. I think, when you look at the numbers, Seattle has one loss at home all season, and that's to Toronto back in May.
Yeah.
Houston one win on the road.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, can it be done? Absolutely. This is the MLS. Anything can happen on any given night. I just think, Seattle, with that home crowd, with where they're at with a 2-0 lead, it's set up perfect for them. And I think if Houston doesn't put a competitive lineup out there and they don't come out and defend well, I believe that Seattle will come out and score multiple goals this evening.
There's going to be a lot of weight on this guy's shoulder, Mauro Manotas right now. I mean, he stepped in and took his chance. I'd expect to see him get rewarded with a start tonight, just being the hot hand. But only one win on the road in the regular season, but you got to give it up. They went on the road in Portland. Nobody gave them a chance in that match and win the game. They go into Portland and take care of business. So it's been different guys, 34 games, 34 different lineups in the regular season.
Insane to me.
And there's going to be changes tonight, of course. Albert Elise is out, so we'll have to see how they line up. But that's the magic of Cabrera. He's been able to get the best out of each guy in the right moments. But yeah, it's a huge task, and it could have been worse in that first leg.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be 3-4-0 when that's really over. Yeah. What they did is they left themselves a puncher's chance, but would need to get a good start. Maybe a set piece early in the game will change things.
Well, let's all be reminded here, too, that Houston is a team that was able to go to Portland and score 2 goals and get a result there. They're entirely capable of pulling off a result. This is also, they've sort of embraced this underdog mentality. They're a young team. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. So if things don't go their way tonight, Ethan, as I said, this is a young team. What would be the takeaways for them?
We have to continue to battle. When I was with Columbus in 2014, it was Berhalter's first year there. We made it to the conference semifinals, and we played New England. The first leg did not go our way at home. We lost 4-2, and it could have been worse in that game. We got a late penalty kick to make it 4-2. We went to the next game wanting to compete. In a similar situation, in fact, we get 4 road goals, or away goals. We were in a bad position, obviously, but you have to continue to compete. And I think Cabrera will have the guys ready to compete tonight, regardless of what happens. If they're still down at halftime and the deficit gets worse, I expect him to continue to go after it, and as he should. I mean, anything can happen in this league, and I think it sets a good situation going into 2018.
But they can't be reckless. They cannot be reckless because things could get away from them in a hurry in this one. Seattle at home can put it on you pretty good. So I think it needs to be cautious with their attack. I think we'll talk a bit about set pieces going forward. Rodney, Houston's been one of the better teams in the regular season and in the postseason with getting goals off set pieces.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be vital for them to take advantage. Houston has been very dangerous, and I think that we have to look at the long throw. And to be honest with you, this is a game. It's a must. Well, it's a must-win. They have to get through. They have to do what they have to do. And, sometimes you just got to throw the ball in the box. And why not make things happen? They got big guys. They got guys that can get up there. And that long throw, that's a big factor. Yeah. That doesn't happen often. I mean, and if you have that, you have to use it. So let's see what happens.
We shall see. All right, well, for more on Houston, let's send it out to Jillian Sakovits, who is standing by with Houston head coach Wilmer Cabrera.
Wilmer, following the first leg, I asked you, what does this team need to change for your game in Seattle? You told me that they need to enjoy themselves. For the Houston Dynamo, what does that mean?
It means that we need to be able to take risk when it's possible. We need to be able to be safe when we have to be safe, and we need to be able to identify the momentum, and we need to be sure that when we have a chance, we put it in a very good frame because chances will be, difficult to have. So if we have one or two, we have to put it away.
Knowing that you have to score at least twice against a team that hasn't given up in goal this entire postseason, and you have to do it without Albert Ellis, how does that change your approach here tonight?
No one is expecting for us to score any goal. So that's good because it takes pressure from our shoulders and takes pressure for the players. So they're confident, they're fine, and if we cannot score goals, nobody's gonna say anything. So it's all positive for us right now. This is it's one of the easiest games for us in terms of pressure. We don't feel any kind of pressure. Hopefully we can enjoy it and we can perform well because it's all win-win for us.
Wilmer, thanks for the time. Guys, back to you.
Do you guys believe Wilmer when he says that they're not feeling any pressure? Is that actually true?
Well, I think they're written off.
Yeah.
I mean, three of us on this desk are writing them off, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, I think they feel that way. I think when they, read the press clippings and they, hear what everyone has said, and then you look at the deficit. I mean, they're written off. And, the only guys that are believing are the guys in that locker room.
We talked about that underdog,
yeah.
and that's them. They got to embrace it. They are right now the underdog, and why not change things around, make some history, get to the MLS Cup.
Wilmer said that nobody expects them to score goals. Do you disagree with that? Do you think we're going to see some goals?
It's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. But it's just about getting it done. You know what I mean? It's
trying to
it's
change
either
the
this
narrative here.
or you go home. Why not? Go out there, give it all you got.
They have the quality to score goals.
They have the quality.
You know what I mean? I know he knows that.
Yeah.
And so, if Seattle's going to sleep on them, they do have the quality to score many goals.
All right. Well, time now to take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. We're going to start with Houston at their starting 11. No Cubo Torres, and Kyoto is apparently sick. Kaylin, what do you make of this?
It's not a good start, Susanna.
No,
it's not
it
a good
isn't.
intro. Come on, I'm trying to think positive
I know I was
here.
trying to stay positive, but my goodness.
Also, no Senderos.
No Senderos.
He's out reportedly with a hamstring strain. So you end up with more questions than answers. Dylan Remick slides in over on the right-hand side. He had the big goal, of course, in Portland, but was playing on the left side, natural left-footed player. Then you'll see Sanchez, the legend, the guy who's been the X factor for the most part, but he's going to go from the start. I think that shows a little bit of, hey, let's throw some numbers forward, throw a bit of caution to the wind. And then Manotas goes in over Kubo. Kubo has no goals since August. Hasn't found form for them. Manotas deserves to start based on his performance, his play. The one thing I saw from Wilmer in that interview, he talked about putting chances on frame and being lethal. Well, Manotas puts all of his chances on frame for the most part, very consistent as far as giving himself a chance to score. So a lot on a 22-year-old shoulder tonight. And the only other name I'd like to bring up is Alexander. I think he stepped in and done an excellent job for them. We talk about depth. Houston doesn't have the big stars, but guys have stepped up. He's a big part of the reason they're in the position they are.
All right, well, on the flip side, let's take a look at the starting 11 for the Sounders. Rodney, what do you make of this?
You got to look back. I mean, Fry's back in goal.
Fry is back in goal.
Fry's back in goal. Then we have, Will Bruin got a goal last game.
Yep,
is he
against his
going
former
to
team.
get it done again? And, Svensson is taking over that center back spot with Torres being out. And, I think the story here is Jordan Morris coming off the bench. Can he provide something coming off the bench for Seattle?
And you would have to think he's going to be extra motivated, having sat out for so long. And
It's
that's
time,
a guy who's going to want to come in and make his presence known. All right, you guys, this is a perfect time for a little more self-promotion. I'm kidding, not about me, about our MLS Cup Central shows starting next week, you guys, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday evening at 7 p.m. We will be live. And then on Saturday, December 9th, ahead of the big game, there's going to be a pregame show. And then following the game, a postgame show. We've got some incredible guests coming in. Tamilia, he's going to be breaking down goalkeeper play. Julian Gressel, Rookie of the Year. We've got Iko Para, Dax McCarty, guys that we were just talking about. There's going to be giveaways. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure you tune in. because it's going to be some serious fun. But right now it's time for our Audi Player Index Spotlight, and today we are focusing on a guy who has been a huge part of Seattle's success in the playoffs. We're talking about Joevin Jones. When he plays well, so do the Sounders. So right now I am going to send Kaylin and Ethan to the board to break it down for us, guys.
Well, so much has been made of the Sounders' attack. A lot of big options up front, big names. Clint Dempsey, Morris, Bruin, but it's actually been a guy on the wings, Joevin Jones, who's made this attack so dangerous in the playoffs. And Ethan, it starts with his relationship with Nicholas Lodeiro.
Absolutely. It takes two players for a give and go, and here he is giving the ball off to Lodeiro. He recognizes the space. Joevin sees the space, and Lodeiro plays a perfect ball to get on goal one-on-one.
Yeah, that one could have been the nail in the coffin for Houston. They escaped, but this is what got them off to a good start in this match.
I love this from the winger. Picking the ball up 80 yards from his goal, his willingness to run right here. You see he knows where the space is. He's got to get up this line.
Yeah, and it finds its way, as it does often, to Nicholas Lodeiro, and this could be too late.
Yeah, I mean, you can see right here, his eyes were on the ball the whole time, right? The space was right here. An inch-perfect ball from Lodeiro, and a game-changing play.
Yeah, that put them in a hole, but this may have sealed their fate. This was, you've seen what he can do being able to stretch the field, getting behind, but here he's able to show you a different dimension, what he can do with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, and this is, he has 11 assists in the regular season, and this is why. Right here, what I love about this play is the movement of the two forwards, right? Will Bruin pulling away, Lodeiro going to the near post, and his recognition, Joevin Jones, perfect ball, world class, and they're up 2-0, and they're on the way to a leg one win.
Yeah, Will Bruin scoring goals back in Houston. Joevin Jones, though, has been the difference. You've seen as his play has gone, the Seattle Sounders have gone with him. Obviously, in leg one, you see the Audi Player Index points per game. Not the best performance, didn't get a goal in that away leg, but then, of course, come home to Seattle where they've been so successful. His performance has only increased as the playoffs have gone on, as have the Seattle Sounders. Joevin Jones, our Audi Index player spotlight for tonight. Susanna Collins, back to you.
Well, thank you, Kaylin Carr. That was a lovely toss. Well, let's talk about Seattle now. And Kaylin, I'm going to throw it back to you here because you were just in Seattle shooting an episode of The Movement, which you can watch right now on MLSsoccer.com. You like that little plug I just gave you?
Respect.
It's teammates right here.
Thank you.
But you had a chance to sit down with Brian Schmetzer and a few other guys, right?
Yeah, we talked to Lamar Nagel and Christian Roldan. It was a little bit of a piece looking at the history of the club, but also what's in front of them today. And talking to Brian Schmetzer, he really dig into what it takes to keep this group motivated with a lead. So the game in Houston, you guys had opportunities to get the third, come back 2-0 at home. We all know that's a dangerous lead in our sport. I've heard you mention it. What's it take mentality-wise to get this group to have the right approach to the second leg?
Well, a lot of coaching is reminders. And so the messaging has been to remind them that 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer, and, trying to get them to really, truly believe it. Get them to really have that sink in, because human nature is, okay, we're going back home. We've been pretty good at home. They haven't been the best road team. We're ahead 2-0. And then I try and balance that with, well, okay, they scored 2 goals against Portland, knocked Portland out. Just remember that. And, just remember that any team in MLS, not just the Dynamo, but any team in MLS on any given day can produce a result. So the parity is another big talking point.
I love it. Brian Schmetzer keeping it 100 with his team, right?
Yeah.
He's like, don't get too far ahead of yourselves, guys. Was that your takeaway?
Yeah, he doesn't miss a detail. There's no coincidence the coaches that are still around in the playoffs are the ones that are more detail-oriented. He's not going to let this team rest on his laurels. They've obviously have championship pedigree. He has a special connection to the club, having been a part of them. He actually was I was joking with him as the first MLS homegrown because he signed straight out of high school for the Sounders.
Those pictures of him are amazing.
Yeah, there's some really funny old school ones of them in the forest, like picture day. It's great. But he's really done an excellent job with this club, a real steward of it, and I know he's going to have these guys ready to go from the jump.
Well, you know, this Seattle team, they're the defending champs, right? And they've got a healthy Clint Dempsey. This year they've had Nico Ladero for the entire season. The addition of Svensson. Is this a better team than the one that won Cup last year, Rodney?
I believe so. I think that just with the addition of Jovan Jones pushing him up to the left mid, I think that just opens up a lot of space for Dempsey, opens up a lot of space for Nicolas Ladero to make plays. And it just forces the defenders to be more aware of the outside player attacking the space all the time. He's running, constantly getting behind, and that's just going to create chaos for the back four, and it's going to open up the game for Dempsey and Nicholas.
More dangerous. Ethan?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Jovan Jones, you know, the ability, his spacing, you know, we talked about it in the Audi Index. You know, he can stretch teams. For me, though, it's Will Bruin. I think his addition to that team has kind of taking them to the next level because, you know, Jordan Morris goes down, he was their main striker, he's their main forward, and Will Bruin's come in and just picked up where he left off when he was with Houston. So, to me, his addition makes him a better team this season.
I talked to Schmetzer about Will, and obviously a guy I know well, but he talked about how this team is set up for a player like Will. They get the ball wide and cut it back across the grain to Will. One-touch finishes the majority of his work in the box. He's been motivated too. 50 goals in 6 seasons in Houston, but kind of pushed aside a little bit. And I think this move was good for him. It was obviously good for Houston. They've found a different way of attacking, but he fits well into this group. But I do think he makes them a better team. Last year, so much fell on Jordan Morris to carry them through. Now you have him coming off the bench. That's a good sign for them looking forward. Clint Dempsey, of course, back this year. But he gives them more depth up front, and he's led the line late through the season. And then in the back, they haven't given up a goal in 6 games. Not a single goal in the playoffs. They forget what it's like to give up a goal at this point.
Well, Rodney mentioned it earlier. You know, they are without Roman Torres tonight. How big of a concern is that for them defensively? What do you think?
I don't think it's such a big concern with where they are right now, with the position they are right now, coming into this game. And you have an experienced player in Svensson, and I think that with all the games that he's played, he's just going to come in and fill in. He's got the players around him that trust him. He's a leader on the team, and I think that it's really up to how tight that back four is going to be, and what can we expect from the players in that attack? Can they defend as well? Are they going to come together? Are they going to be compact? Are they going to get the chances? And you know, at the end of the day, you have to finish the job.
Ethan, your thoughts?
This is what championship teams are made of. We talk about it with Toronto, with their depth that they were able to show this playoff run. It's no different for Seattle. Svensson will come in. He's played 10-plus games at center back position. He'll be alongside Chad Marshall, and they'll be just fine. If they miss him in any way, it'll be on set pieces. I don't think that will be the factor tonight. I still think Svensson is a like-for-like in my mind.
Kaylin, any thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I think it's a tall task for Houston.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we're getting to predictions yet. My heart tells me. My heart wants to go. Are we ready for that?
Yeah, let's do the predictions. Let's get right into it.
My heart wants to say Houston, but my heart last night wanted to say Columbus, and I chose Toronto. I think just based on performance.
Romance is dead.
I know. You said it. It does hurt to say, but I think the difference is going to be in the middle of midfield. Christian Roldan is a guy we didn't really talk about. He's emerged this season in a big way. Schmetzer put him at the number 10 when Ladero was out for a while. We came back from the Gold Cup and came through with goals. I think he's such a talented player in our league. But him and Ladero, the other guy in the middle, hasn't really found his footing. He missed a penalty kick. I think for them to be able to win MLS Cup, I think Schmetzer's going to want to see him get a goal in this one. But look, Houston hadn't made the playoffs in 3 seasons. They're in the conference final. So big hat off to them, the whole organization. But this is a team that's going to be in MLS Cup, Seattle Sounders.
All right, real quick, your prediction. Who to watch?
Who to watch? I want to see that celebration. Get it?
Little.
Hey. 8. We want to see the robot. We want to see.
He does it so much better than I do. Darn it!
We want to see Cubo Torres really come off the bench and get those goals that he hasn't gotten since August, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I think that he's hungry. He's a goal scorer, natural forward. So I want to see him come off the bench.
And you're picking Houston?
I'm going with Houston. H-Town, let's get it.
All right, Ethan.
Short and sweet. I got 3-1 Seattle, and Clint Dempsey is involved in all 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Deuce is loose. Yeah, I'm going Seattle, and I'm going to say Svensson only because I like his mustache. That's it. His best mustache game. You guys, tune into ESPN right now. That game is kicking off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're in Canada, turn over to TSN and TVA Sports. We are going to be right back here for the post-game show, so please join us then. Enjoy the game. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.